Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome. It is 8.2. It is What is Economics? Follow along with the quiz to answer your 8 questions. Let's get started. So, what is economics? The study of how we make decisions in a world where resources are limited. Now, a lot of people don't think of that necessarily whenever they think of economics. They think of money. It isn't necessarily just money. It's just being, like, the true definition of economics is making smart decisions. So to be economical would be to be the best that you can be at making decisions. So economics in our situation, though, is a little bit money intensive. So the fundamental economic problem is scarcity. So scarcity is pretty simple. It's when you don't have enough resources to produce all the things that we want or need. We live in that world. We don't live in a world of unlimited resources. So we must make choices among alternatives. There's 3 basic economic questions that we go over, or what we look at economics through. What to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. All of those things must be answered before you even get into this realm of production. All right, so question number 1 should be answered from this slide. All right, we'll skip that political cartoon. Economic decision making. So economists use decision making models in order to make decisions. You use decision making models in different choices. Just every day whenever you're making decisions, you probably do make, use a decision-making model, which would be elimination by aspects. So if for some reason you're making a decision, you've got a bunch of choices, and one of them has this, you know that one of them isn't going to work out, you eliminate that choice, that's a decision-making model. Economic decision-making requires us to understand all the costs and benefits of a choice. Rational choice, our definition, is choosing the alternative that has the greatest value among comparable quality products. So it's looking at, this is the perfect time to learn about this. It's Christmas time right now. Just recently I had to make a rational choice about where to buy a Nintendo Switch for my son, my 4-year-old son. Guess what? Best choice was GameStop. $2.99, comes with that weird controller thing that you can slide the 2 pieces into, and it comes with a free game and a 30% off of a used game. That was the best decision. Okay? So you buy the good/service you think will best satisfy your wants and needs for the lowest price. This makes best use of scarce resources. Be informed. Know where the deals are. Which pizza place am I going to choose tonight? I don't know. Whichever one will give me a free pizza. Okay? Now I want you to call Papa John's. Okay. All right. So, trade-offs. So economic choices involve trade-offs, choosing to use resources in one way and not in the other. For example, when you buy a product, you exchange money for the right to own that product rather than something else you could buy for the same price. Opportunity cost, and this is one of your questions, is what you cannot buy or do when you choose to do or buy one thing rather than another. I chose to buy a Nintendo Switch for my son. Meaning, I'm not buying a PlayStation 5 for myself. The opportunity cost is the PlayStation 5 for me. So, it is the next best alternative that you had to give up for the choice you made. That's what an opportunity cost is. It's not just money, also inconveniences linked to the choices made. So it would be like time, okay? Strength, possibly, something like that, okay? It doesn't always have to be money. All right. Cost and benefits, just talking about revenues. Fixed costs, those are anything that, expenses. so things that we spend money on, businesses spend money on, producers spend money on, that are the same no matter how many units of a good are produced. Variable costs change. Expenses that change with the number of products produced. If a business produces more, variable costs like raw materials and wages will increase because you're going to need more people to work. Those would be variable costs. Fixed costs plus variable costs equals total costs. Okay? Not marginal cost, but total cost. To find average total cost, divide each cost by the quantity produced. Marginal cost is just the extra cost of producing one additional unit of output. So let's say that we are making PlayStation 5s. It costs us $103 to make each PlayStation 5. And we're selling them for, whatever, $5.99 or whatever it is. The marginal cost is $103. That's what it takes to produce one more. All right, so that is marginal cost. So fixed cost plus variable cost equals total cost. That's one of your questions on the quiz. Businesses have a profit motive. I mean, especially here in the United States, we are here to make a profit. So businesses measure total revenue and marginal revenue to decide what amount of output will produce the greatest profits. Total revenue equals the number of units sold times the average price per unit. That's your total revenue, that's money coming in. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue that results from selling one more unit of output. So let's just go back to the PlayStation 5. It costs $103 to make it. $599 is what we're selling it for. We are making close to $500 per unit. That would be marginal revenue there. Marginal benefit, the additional benefit associated with an action, which would probably be profit. Cost-benefit analysis, this is something that a lot of businesses look at every single year. They run their numbers. They probably look at it every single quarter at least, so 4 times a year. So comparing marginal cost and marginal benefits of a decision. You should choose an action when the benefits are greater than the cost. If it's costing you too much, if it outweighs the benefits, you should reject that option. Okay, so it's interesting. You have to kind of gauge how many products, right, to produce in the beginning, and then you can kind of make some adjustments later. So the graph shows that after 15 acres, the extra cost outweighs the extra benefits of planting more acres. So again, you end up losing money if you don't do cost-benefit analysis. If cost outweigh benefits, you should reject the option. All right, economic resources and types of economies. Pretty simple here. Land, which would be natural resources. Labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So an economic system, the way society organizes the productions and consumption of goods and services. We're going to go over 4 of those types of things here in a second. But all 4 of those have these factors of production. Resources necessary to produce goods and services. Natural resources, gifts of nature, land, water, animals, minerals, stuff like that, stuff that comes from this earth that we can change into products. Labor, anyone who works for or works to produce goods and services. That could be anybody. It could be the truck driver who gets the services and goods to you. Okay? Capital, manufactured goods used to make other goods and services. Machines, buildings, tools. I mean, the factory where Fords are made, that would be capital. Okay? And then entrepreneurship. This is huge. An individual who starts a new business, introduces new products, and improves processes. An entrepreneur is risky. They take risks.
Or is there 2 capitals?
Are there?
Mm-hmm. There's no other entrepreneurship.
Well, luckily, it's fame, right?
I heard it.
I messed that up a bit. Okay, so entrepreneurship is an interesting thing because it does take risk. to begin the entire process. You see entrepreneur right there. My wife is a restaurateur, which means that she tries to start new restaurants and is risky in that world, okay? And to start a restaurant takes capital, labor, natural resources. She has to, all the factors of production are right there for her as well. We're going to skip this. We usually do a little activity right here. But we'll look at the types of economies. So the way a society answers the three basic economic questions. Who owns the factors of production determine the type of economic system someone lives in. So let's look at these: traditional, command, market, and mixed. So I just have it on this sheet right here. So you're going to use this sheet to answer your last three questions on the quiz. So market economy, that's pretty much, we kind of exist in this world. A lot of people think that we are a market economy, where truly we're probably a mixed economy. But market economy, economic decisions are made by individuals competing to earn profits based on supply and demand. Now, we are allowed to do that. We create competition here in the United States. That's why across the street from every CVS there is a Walgreens.
Not always.
It seems that way though, right? I mean, every once in a while you run into a situation where there's only a CVS on the corner. Cool. But usually they're right across the street from each other. And that right there is competition. So resources are owned by individuals. Profit, not quotas, is the motive for increasing work. Competition determines price and increases the quality of products. I think about gas stations a lot right here. If there's a gas station on its own, on a road, you'll see a price set by them. You see two gas stations next to each other, you'll see almost the exact same price at both of those gas stations, because if one goes up and the other one is a little bit lower, then they're going to get more money and more, people buying their product, which happens to be gas, because it's cheaper. This is also called capitalist economy. So again, we have this feeling of a market economy in the United States, but we're probably truly a mixed economy. So let's go to command economy. Command is the government or other central authority makes all the economic decisions. The government runs the economy. Places that this exists in, examples would be China, North Korea, Russia. Okay, people, they don't have really choices. Everything is regulated and put forth by the government. So individuals have little, if any, influence over economic functions. Resources are owned by the government. There is no competition because the government sets everything. Factories are concerned with quotas because the government has set those quotas. Hey, you better make this many units, or else, you know what, we'll find somebody else to do it. Consumers have few, if any, choices in the marketplace, and the government sets prices of goods and services. Again, a communist country would probably be the best example of someone who uses command economy. Then you go to mixed, which is just a mix between market and command, and that's kind of what we're at. I mean, the government regulates us in business for our economy, but we do have this ability to compete against each other. So government guides and regulates. Resources are owned by individuals, not the government, and the government is there to protect both producers and consumers. That is what we experience here in the United States. And then traditional is just old school. All right, so an economic system where the tradition and custom govern economic decisions. Think about bartering, so trading this for that. I'm looking for a new surfboard, and I have a PlayStation 4. I'll trade you my PlayStation 4 for the new surfboard. For your used surfboard. That would be a traditional economy move. Economic activities are usually centered toward the family, tribe, or ethnic group. Resources are allocated based on inheritance. So your family would give you land because of that. That's what we're talking about with traditional economies. Choices are determined by the environment. Little or no use of technology at all, or a monetary system probably doesn't exist. Again, it's all about trading and bartering. So that's where we are Should have done well on the quiz. We're done. Hit me with the theme song one time. Like, get out of here.